time that in my household we get sugar cereal.
Wait, were you?
Because we never had what my wife calls sugar cereal. We always have like Raisin Bran or Cheerios or whatever. But the only time we get sugar cereal is when we're going on like a long road trip or we're going like a beach house or something. Then she lets my kids pick out like multi-pack of sugar cereals. You would think they won the lottery. They're like, and then they have all this negotiating as far as like who's getting the corn pops and who's getting the Frosted Flakes and who's getting the Lucky Charms. They trade and barter back and forth. Kind of
My dad gave different cereal.
Oh, Honey Nut Cheerios are really good. They are delicious. That's what those are. Okay, so let's talk about this warm-up. Remember today's review day. So I want to go through the warm-up. It's very important that you understand the warm-up. Okay, I'll just let that marinate in your brains.
Wait, how do you say that?
Muy importante.
That means very important.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Gracias. And then we're going to do review. Now remember the standard review is we're going to go for 10-15 minutes. I'm going to put out the answer keys. You work in your groups. Compare answers. If y'all have a different answer, see if you can figure it out without going to the key. That's how you learn. If you cannot figure it out, then you go to the key. If you are front to back on this review, if you're rock solid, you'd be great on the test. The biggest thing you have to be careful about on the test is making sure that you don't do what?
Stupid mistake.
Yeah, but more importantly, don't pick the answer that looks right. Very good. Pick the answer that looks right. Okay? Make sure you do the math, get your answer, then match it. Otherwise, you will fall into one of my traps. It's a guarantee. Okay? And this is a really good opportunity to get a good grade in before we get into Unit 3, and then obviously Unit 4 is waiting for us. Okay? So here we go. It says, what happens to the value of y when the value of x increases by 2? How would I mathematically represent the value of x increasing by 2? Yes. Okay, but now, just easy. What? X plus 2, right? Mathematically, the way I increase the value of x by 2 is to write, x plus 2. And if I substitute this in here, I end up with y equals negative 4 times x plus 2 plus 3. I have increased the value of x by 2. Now, when you see this, what should we do first? It's always the rule with equations when you have parentheses. Get rid of parentheses first, do distribution. We're going to distribute that. We end up with y equals negative 4x minus 8 plus 3, which gives us as a final equation y equals, simplifying, what do we get?
Negative 4 minus 5.
Negative 4x minus 5. Now I wanted to ask you, I don't want you to yell it out, but I want you to think about it before it comes up flying out of your face. If this is your original equation, and this is your new equation, how mathematically did the value of y change? Hold, but I want to stew on it. How mathematically did the value of y change from this equation on the top to this equation on the bottom? Avery, take a shot. It decreased by 8. It decreased by 8. Because if you think about it, everything else is the same. Y's are the same. Negative 4x is the same. The only thing that changed is it went from here to there. Mathematically, we would say that function decreased by 8. Very important that you understand that. And part of the reason that I recorded the warm-up this time, so when you go to the website, if you look at the videos, it'll be us going through the review, which we'll do in a few minutes, but it will obviously be this warm-up. Please make sure you understand this warm-up. Any questions on how this works? How would you write that original equation in function notation? Tristan? F of x equals negative 4x plus 3. And we can just make it function notation because what two things are the same? Y and f of x. The term f of x is the same as your output, which is the same as y. Everybody good to go? All right, any questions as far as that's concerned? All right, pause video. Okay, So I do want to go over one quick kind of remember thing for the test. And if you wanted to, remember we had that page in our notebooks that we made when we first made it. It was like page 3. It was like important formulas to remember or whatever. This would not be a bad thing to do. And it's basically a copy of the bill that you see in the back. Here's what we need you to get. Everything about algebra is about the x and the y and the relationship between the x and the y, right? So you have an x, you have y, you have input, you have output, you have independent and dependent. All of these things on the left are representations of our input or our x value. Domain. And you notice that I put this horizontal line for x. Because when we're measuring domain, essentially, we're considering the width of the function, the furthest left-hand point to the furthest right-hand point. And inside, what do I mean by inside on the x? How would that be applicable to x?
Oh, it's inside the.
In the function notation, when we write a number inside parentheses, we are giving you the x value. When we write a number outside parentheses, we are giving you the y value, because f of x is y. Because f of x is just another way of writing y. Everybody good on all this? Okay. And again, when we're talking about we're talking about range, which is what the y value is, we're talking about the height of a function, lowest to highest. So let's go through. What I'll do is I'm just going to ask if anybody needs to see anything, and then we'll just go page by page, and we'll be done. I'll get showtime the rest of the time. 1, 2, or 3. Does anybody need to see that worked out? 1, 2, or 3? 3? Hold. On number 3. The best way to do it, it says the graph below shows the number of light bulbs in thousands that the electric light bulb company sold from 1998 to 2001. If the trend shown in the graph continues, in what year can the electric light bulb company first expect to sell more than 1 million light bulbs? Now, I'm going to do it with this, but effectively we need to kind of figure out that trend line, right? You would do it with just a straight edge. But that's basically our trend line. Now the question is, where is 1 million light bulbs on our Y? Thank you. It's at 1,000, right? So we come over, we find our point, we go straight down, and we end up there. And you're like, well, so it happened in 2003, really, right?
Well,
Avery?
it said when will it get, what year will it be more than that?
Well, yeah, and 3's not on the board. So you essentially go with the closest answer, which would be 2004. Okay? But first you have to find out what data point we're talking about. In order to do that, you need a trend line. Okay? You need a trend line. And please use a straight edge, because some of you can't draw a straight line to save your life. So use a straight edge. 4, 5, or 6, please. 4, 5, or 6. Ask now or forever hold your peace. Okay? 7, 8, or 9? Joey? Oh, 9.
Like, I got the right answer, but I don't get how.
What does this essentially mean they're asking? What does that mean, Carden? Means if it's a function. Yeah, it's just a function test. And they said not. So on a graph, how do we test for functionality? Vertical line test, and that fails terribly. Okay? 10, 11, or 12, please. 10, 11, or 12?
No.
13 or 14? 13 and 14. Okay. Give the domain and range of the relation. Give the domain and range. Domain, what do we think when we think domain? Width. Very good. The furthest left to the furthest right point. That would be -3 to +2. So I'm looking at the domains. That's out. Everything else is okay, because they're all closed circles and we're good. So now we go to range, which is the lowest point to the highest point.
Negative.
-2 to 4 on the range. -2 to 4. That one looks good. That one's out. That one's out. Has to be B. One thing at a time. Just be careful. And the easiest way to misdirect you on a multiple choice question is to switch the domain and range. The numbers. Okay? So be careful. Don't just look for the numbers you're looking for. Make sure they're in the right place. Okay? And on this one, the temperature changes throughout the hours of the day. First I look and make sure, okay, I'm measuring hours and temperature. Early in the morning, the temperature increases slowly, so I should see an upward line. At noon, it rises sharply, goes up more steeply. During the afternoon, it stays the same for several hours, and then it decreases slightly when night falls. Which one looks like what I've got? D. So sometimes it wouldn't be a bad idea, instead of looking for the match, just draw what it's describing and then match it. Remember I said I want you to do the math and then match your answer. Right? You have to be careful not to go with the one that looks right. 15, 16, or 17 or 18. 15, 16, 17, 18. Everybody good with 18, really? Yes, ma'am. 18. Now, if you'll notice on 18 is one of those ones that became a little tricky if you weren't paying attention to the inputs and the outputs. So basically the scenario is Chloe received a gift card for $40 worth of skate rentals at the park's ice rink. The cost of renting a pair of ice skates is $5. Which table best represents B, the balance on the gift card after she rents and skates? So basically every time she rents a pair of skates, what's happening to the balance of that gift card? Decreasing by $5. So, let's see, she doesn't rent one, it's 40, she rents one, it should be 35, that one's out. Same here, 0, 40, 135, we're good so far, we're good so far. If she rents 4 ice skates, how much did she spend? 20, that's a problem. And you notice the first 3 data points were fine. How many selected that one before you checked it against the key? Because you're not taking your time. I know how you work. Don't check 3 data points and go, that's it. That would be a bad idea. Oh, well, that's not a problem at all. Just don't even look at the X. So, again, 0, 40. 1 is 5 off. 2 is 10 off. 5 is 25 off of 40, so that one works. And 7 rentals times 5 is $35. That one looks right, but I'm going to go ahead and check anyway because I don't want to, be made fun of whenever we go over the grades. So 0 is 40, right? 2 is, that's out. Okay? What? I'm saying if you miss one that you know you should have gotten because you sped through it and didn't do what I say, yes, I will ridicule you. It's the best part of being a teacher. Oh, and I'm recording it. I don't care. I will make fun of your child if they don't do what I tell them to do. See? Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I know, it was really fast.
Okay, so then here's our deal. Listen carefully. Don't take it for granted. Go have your wonderful weekend. Listen, it's going to be a beautiful weekend, right? But then on Sunday evening, take it out, 10 minutes, look through, just make sure you're good. Anything that you missed, make sure you're reviewing in your head. And then come in here, pay attention to the details, do the math, match the math. Don't go with what looks right. Any questions?